Hello there, my name is Ramaro Gift, and welcome to The Big Picture. So this podcast is actually about entrepreneurship. It is really designed to help you scale in your business. Today, I've got a very special guest, and his name is actually Naledzani Richard Sengani. This entire session is going to be jam-packed with nuggets that will help you scale in your business, help you also understand how you can actually maneuver in the marketplace as well. So enjoy the entire session. Take care. Mr. Richard Naledzani Sengani, welcome. So I actually want us to start with an icebreaker so that it's a bit light, it's a bit easy. So if you were to have lunch with three people that either they are still alive or dead, doesn't matter. Who will those people be? And why would you choose them?
Yeah, this is big eyes. Yeah, I would have lunch with my dad. Yeah, he was a hustler. My dad was working for government, yet he was doing a lot of things at home, and which was making additional money to that, and he has groomed me to that. I would have lunch with that guy. And may his soul rest in peace. I would have lunch with Vusitembe. He's a good motivational speaker, and he has self-confidence. I would want to drink from that cup. He's one of the success. I wish that guy well. The last person I would have lunch with, a third person. Yeah, the third person would actually be my son, my firstborn. But that man, when we are together, just me and him, he challenges me. He asks me questions that actually are difficult, very difficult question. So, Dad, who is God? So why are we supposed to be Christians? Yeah. And my son does not speak that much. You might think that he's very quiet, but he's got this content that would surprise you. So, yeah, those are my three guys.
All right. Yeah. No, excellent. I think, you mentioned some great people. Actually aware of Vusitembe Choir.
Yeah.
And may your father rest in peace as well. And your son, I have no doubt that we have a star in the making.
Yeah.
All right. So jumping on to today's work,
yeah.
I think there's a lot that we need to discuss based on the bio that I've just went through. I read your bio for a number of times, and I felt the need that I should give you the opportunity to really introduce yourself. And please go on and tell us who you are.
My name is Naledzani Richard Sengani. Yeah, I hail from a little village called Mashamba. Grew up there, studied at the University of Venda. I have a 4 years degree in hydrology and water resources. My first experience was when I became a dropout from the university. I needed to see how do I generate the money that is the shortfall for me to complete my degree. And that alone became the center hold of what I ended up becoming as a person. Then I started joining hands with production houses, people that do music production, not necessarily to play an instrument, but just to see what that I can learn from there. Then I moved on to realize that I had a friend, his name was James. He was doing well. There was a group called Muzika wa Makhado, which was established by Reechards Records. And then James was the lead vocal there. He then moved to Pretoria So I've never been to Gauteng, and then I'm a dropout, trying to move around with these music people. In that time, it was Jane Biza, it was Ufnoma Tom, then now Ufno Dagad, Robert Nemadziban, and those were my guys. Got an opportunity to come to Gauteng. I did an internship with South African Institute of Civil Engineers. Remember, I did not start civil, I studied sciences.
Yeah.
Then they gave me an opportunity. They kept on deploying me everywhere in the country. They deployed me in the Northern Cape, in Uppington. They took me to a place in Kakamas, part of the Northern Cape. Lived there for some time, be able to generate the money to pay my tuition. After I've paid my tuition, I was already now a trained civil engineer who is not qualified engineer. And municipalities were looking for my services because I have a mixture of science and engineering. Then SAIC sold me to a local municipality. They gave me a position as a technician.
Okay.
And since then, my career started. I then became a water technician. From being a water technician, I became a project manager. From that, I became a technical director. From there, I became an acting municipal manager until the cry in me of, but I'm not necessarily an 8 to 5. Because even when I was doing my 8 to 5, I still had my music production going on. I had now a music brand who was, I was producing important artists who are now a national artist whilst I was working. And you can imagine every weekend I'm gone. I'm in the Northern Cape, but every weekend I'm in Gauteng because I need to push the brand. Yeah, so that alone has actually made me gather a whole lot of other qualifications. I then went to Wits, studied municipal finance management. I also studied project management. I also studied with the Tokyo Bureau of Water Services. I went to Japan for a month to do a certificate on water resource management. I was one of the few that was chosen by the Department of Water Affairs. Out of 9 provinces, they had to choose 9 people to go to Japan to do that particular one. So I was one of those.
That's impressive.
Yes. And over time, I think that also was helping me build the network. And 2018, as the director, I got my car banned because I did not want to participate on irrational issues. And it was standing in front of some of the people, and that actually created a riot, and my car was burned to ashes. If you go on Google and you say municipal director car torched, you will see Richard Sengani appearing there.
Sure.
Yeah, that alone I think was now an element that made me realize that I cannot be a government official anymore. Let me now look into what is it that I can do by myself. And then Kinnor Investments was registered. Kinnor Investments started operating. 2020 was supposed to be my first year of hard implementation, but unfortunately COVID-19. So I literally started doing more business investment 2021.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
But amongst other things, I think that would capture my experience at local government, my experience with, and within this specific time, I would sometimes work for consulting companies. Even when I was working for municipalities, some consulting companies who were working in other provinces, because I knew the guys, studied with them, they would ask me to assist them, draft up business plans, your documents to source funding on different institutions and all that. Yeah, that also motivated me enough to say, I can really be a consultant by myself,
Yeah.
Right now, I am working as a consultant for producer responsibility organization that is dealing with waste management. is dealing primarily with waste recovery and recycling. It's a paper and packaging company called Pro Alliance, which is now an alliance of producer responsibility organizations. So we are drafting frameworks for the waste picker integration programs. We're working together with CSIR. We're working with industry, which involves your big industries like your Unilever, your Coca-Cola, all your big brands that are producing any paper and packaging material. We're working with them. So I'm a project manager there.
Okay. Yeah. No, excellent. Thank you so much for such a detailed background. Yeah. And I think in line with what I had in the bio, it's really sinking, and it brings forth the expertise that you actually have. Yeah. And I think when I look at it, I think you went through a lot of challenges, your car being burned. Yeah. But I want to understand, what was the mind shift that you had to actually implement in order for you to actually be able to overcome whatever obstacles or challenges that were actually before you? What is it that you quite aware that you did on a mental state in order to overcome such challenges?
Look, it is actually not easy. And that's why even when I do talks, I would primarily start by saying, dig deep into you. Dig deep into you, because remember, anything that happens around you frustrates you. It makes you become that which you were not before anything could happen. So because these things that happens around us change us, we may need to dig into us to find us and be able to, realign ourselves again. I would start by my academic background. Yeah, there was a point I was a dropout, but I needed to find something to do that would help me be able to resolve the challenge I had. And today I'm a registered scientist. Now, when I needed to launch out now to start operating on my own, opening a business and running it properly, I first needed to find that. What is it that I can do? Yeah. Based on my experience as well, what have I gathered over time? And again, what is my natural talent? Those were the gatherings that I would want to bring myself to. And the first thing first, if I were to open a business, what would be the name of that business? Yeah. Because that emanates from the very same attributes that I'm referring to. And I called it Kinnor Investments, because one thing for sure is I want to grow and impact. And Kinnor is just a name that was used in the Bible days for an instrument that was played by David when King Solomon was sick. Each time he played an instrument, the sickness in him would subside. So that instrument was called Kinnor. And because I want to grow and impact, and I look at my life, I have impacted people. I have started programs that have made people become what they are. It means that it is high time now that professionally I go into this. And limitations were both. I got my car bent. I need to start from fixing my emotions and into this. And the part of which I needed to attend programs that would help me do that. And I am a spiritual person. I would attend church programs. I would also attend all these motivational talks. I would listen more into people that were plunging in me so that I can grow from the very place that I was, because it was discouraging me. I listened a lot to Vusi Tembegwayo. I listened a lot to Joshua Maponga, and those were people that brought me about into the self-identification, and that alone made me become a person that has a motto that says, a man has never failed. But until he has overcome himself into wanting to move forward, he has never failed. So I don't want to fail sitting here, but I will fail as I go. there's a saying in Venda that I once heard when I was growing. "Zvidolipera na panda." It will all pay off as we move. And that alone made me stand up in that regard. Even during COVID, maybe just to take you back, during COVID, I was one of the people that were still in business. Okay. And I hear people saying that, look, during COVID, there were a lot of problems. During COVID, there were this and whatnot. But I clinched a deal with the Russian government to ship out the sanitizers from the country to Russia. And that deal made me survive before the better part of the COVID year. So hence I'm saying that this thing is in you. When it is this particular period, because you found it inside yourself, you always want to say, what can I do now that is different from what I could do then, because time allows for now. We are in a GNU now. You also find a way of how does my business find relevance in the time of the political structure that we are in. So I'm saying you overcome these obstacles by finding something in you and relating it to the knowledge that you always had and network, listen to other speakers. I mean, look, where we have met, I've been doing a talk there. Those people who were part of the panel, most of them have also given motivational talks to me.
Yeah.
So that's how it is. You overcome by learning. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Excellent. Yeah, I think you touched on some serious points. Yeah. Digging deep into who you are will help you resolve the issues on the external world that we're actually living in. That is very powerful. But now I want us to get to the business past. You actually talked about the business that you're running, Kinnor Investments. Yes. I like the meaning of the name, where it comes from. Yes. So I'm also more of a spiritual person. I really like that part. Yeah. And I'm asking myself now that what were some of the major projects that you actually worked on and that you are currently worked on in this business? Right. Can you take us through some of the projects that you're working on?
Yeah, well, look, the projects that I have now, the Kinnor Investments is a group of ideas that I have. And I normally call it group of companies because that's the word that will find acceptance. But it's actually a group of me. It's me actually in a versatility, looking at me in terms of what else can I do except what I do and all that. Yeah. Because I'm a poet, I want to find poetry in it. Okay. And that's why it is an element of me writing a book and me reciting my poems and including them on the productions that I do. And then I have the music linked to that. That's fine. And then again, Kinnor on the other side would have an appetite of, I grew up in a village, I know agriculture from the basis. So I have got the food security element, which then I do advisory services to those that are doing small-scale farming, and I do training as well, accredited training towards that. So I've got that on the other side. So Kinnor Investments becomes the group of my ideologies, my experience, and what I can do, and also the knowledge that I have. So with that in mind, the projects that I'm doing now, with that background, you would understand that, okay, that's the reason why he's there. I'm a scientist, so that's why I'm involved in the waste management structure, where I am doing project management at the producer responsibility organizations, talking about waste management, the green environment and all that, and ensuring that we're developing the framework for waste pickers, the people we call bomacheres. Okay. We are helping them to be registered in the national database, which the Department of Forestry and Environment, Fisheries and Environment have developed now. So we're part of that. I'm managing that project. That's part of the project that I'm doing. Secondly, I'm doing a project of project management with one of the construction companies that we have in the family of Kinnor Investments, which is my granny General Trading. It's a grade 8 construction company. I do project management for the projects that we do there, especially those bigger projects. We have a big project that we've just gotten the beginning of this year in Umzimkulu in the KZN for road maintenance. So I am doing the project management on that, staffing the project, ensuring that the project delivers, reporting, building communication and liaison with the clientele, and then that's the part I do. I've got another project that we're doing at Breibach. It's in East London. Okay. We are doing occupational health and safety there. We are occupational health and safety agents, partnering with a lead consulting engineer for the development of 3,000 houses. We have started last year with the internal services. So we are the OHS part of that project. And then I'm the lead consultant as well there.
Okay.
We also just finished a project which was launched yesterday. I'm so excited about it.
Okay.
By the mayor of Vembe,
okay.
In Tamani. In Limpopo, we built a water system, refurbished a water plant, built a new elevated tank. So people in Tamani, Chipako area and all that, and they have got water now.
Congratulations.
Yes, I've been a project manager for that one. And yeah, those are some of the major exciting projects that I'm involved in.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward into the one I spoke about to say that, look, municipalities are struggling.
Yeah.
And there seems to be consulting and no support. And I would want to start a trail of starting to speak to Treasury and COPTA, and we would like to partner with them to support municipalities. We've got experience, we've got capable people. I know of municipal champions who has worked for municipalities and changed things in municipalities that are no longer working for municipalities, whom we can bring them just to try and assist those that are struggling, where we can support them and all that. And we want that program to be owned by government. And I'm developing a concept document for that, and in a business plan strategy in terms of this is how we feel we can actually support government to do support to these municipalities.
Excellent. Yeah, I think, what you are doing is quite impressive, and well done on that. I think our country needs young people like yourself to raise up and actually try to assist where they can. But now I'm trying to move into what is actually happening with the small businesses, right? We understand that a small business only has run about 5 years in order to prove that it can actually exist in the market, right? And 90% of the small businesses that open in 5 years, they are closed down. So we only have like 10% survival rate of businesses, right? So I want you to give us steps in which individuals who are not in business, though that are aspiring as well to be in business, what is it that they can do in order to make sure they're starting on the right track and make sure they survive past 5 years, right? And what are some of the channels they need to actually look at in order to be sustainable as they try to run their businesses?
All right. Yeah, that's a mouthful. That's a big one. I think I love SMME. I think we must qualify that. I love SMME space, and I am also I always identify myself as an SMME because I want to relate to anyone else who I can help to get to that. And the trajectory of 5 years and the analysis of people go to 5 years and then from there, boom, they collapse, has been a notion of the learning and the unlearning. There are things we need to unlearn, and there are things we need to keep on learning. And hence, the word network becomes a critical word, but maybe we'll get to that. Those ones that have not started, before I get to them, I want to speak to the ones that died, to say that go back to it if you believed in it, and make it work again, and look for support, and do not do the same mistakes that you did. The businesses are comprised of your strength, of what you can do it more, and allow to learn in it such that it can be shaped in the right direction. And the things that are pitfalls, which of course you have seen that me getting paid and do what I do with the money instead of what I would have wanted to, or was I supposed to do, it's a pitfall which I may not need to repeat. So go back to it. If you were selling Acha, go sell it again. Maybe this time around, just create a nice container and then just go to, even if it's Postnet, and ask them to do you just something that you can put on top of it and say, it's mango Acha, organic from the mango tree of Venda in Limpopo, and go sell it in Durban. You will see they would want to buy because they know that, oh, wow, Venda, organic, nice. That mango has never met a chemical in its life.
Advice. I really like that.
I'm saying go back to it, rebrand, refocus, and do that. Now there's this guy who wants to start, and he has seen those that have succeeded. Maybe they are too big because they are there, and with them flashing delays you to even think ahead. These ones, they failed, you frustrated. Look, I want to say to that guy, the first thing first, dig deep into you. You are going to find a business plan inside you. And that business plan, it's your guide. Business plan would say, this is what I want to do. And this is where I want to take it to. I'm not so much of a financial person. But there are two things for me that I've seen in business that coincide. And you have those two. You already have a success recipe. You have a plan of what you want to do, and you have got a strategy to market it. These two will help you build your business. Who do I want to work with? It's a subject of those two. Are they coming to help me sell marketing? Or are they coming to help me build? It's a structure of the government, of the business itself. Now, with that in mind, for me, that's the starting stage. That's the beginning phase of starting a business. Anybody else who has anything anywhere that we look at have started somewhere. And this starting somewhere, it's starting from motivating yourself that I will fail on the road. Maybe there's no failure on the road. Just maybe there's no failure on the road. Then I'm destined to succeed. This thing of sitting here and say, I don't have capital. But capital is not an idea. And capital just become a subject of an idea that has been developed. I'll give an example on that. I have a passion to contribute or to participate on tourism sector. Because I love water. Maybe because I'm a water scientist. But I love water. So even when I'm even now looking for a site in the Njere side where we come from. And I've been asking my elder brothers who are the royal of the family to say, I want where there's a dam, just near the dam. Let me build my house. When I wake up, I just want to see the water. I'm good. They came and say, hey, the crocodiles and whatnot. No. The reason being, I want to contribute in the market of tourism. So the first thing first, I even have a complete business plan, you won't believe. And that business plan is saying, I want to have a boat. I want to have a nice container where I can do a kiosk. And let it be in a remote of the remote. That kiosk will be my convenient shop where there's water for people, when there's just basic things that they would need. Then I will clean up that whole area. If there are trees, I will make that there's some the place where people can sit and do their picnic things, and whatever the case. I can link up with any local business who does deco and say, look, I have this, I have a boat, and I have the space. You bring your tent, you do your parties and your weddings here and whatnot. Let's partner and work together and whatnot. And then that's nice. Got one partner. Second partner, I want someone who says, I've got quad bikes around here. Then we can go make roads for those that does quad bike and all that. Then another one says, okay, fine, I think I've got 2 or 3 horses and whatever the case. Then I've got horses, I've got quad bikes, I've got a boat to do boat trips in the water. I've got picnic spaces and all that. If people need be, they're doing closing party, like in you guys doing closing party, you're in Venda, maybe I've found Nandoni Dam space there. You can come there, do your closing nice. This one will come and decorate for you and do all those nice things and whatnot. That becomes now contributing towards that, partnering with other SMMEs, working together towards the common goal.
Yeah.
Now that, I'm saying, it's an idea, but it starts from, what do I want to do? That business plan. I need to do the business plan. What is my market? Who is my market? Already me speaking like that, you can tell that I want people that enjoy activities. That wants to go in a place and they don't want to sit there. What will I do? After boat cruise, what then?
Yeah.
There's a quad bike there. And if I'm not going for that, I don't want noise and whatnot. Okay, fine. Just find your nice stuff and everything else. There's a nice shade on a tree. Go sit there. I will just put, you can even take those pallets and just put nice flowers on them and take those green mat and put it there, and then a cooler box for them. They sit there for the whole afternoon, enjoy, and it's quiet, it's nice, beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a tourism place. I'm saying, start. If there's one who has an idea and they want to do something, just start. Say, for example, I did not have the capital to buy a boat, but I want something like that. I must just go create that space. Go there, 3 or 4 guys, let's clean up this space. Let's say it's a picnic area. Everyone will bring their things, come there, sit there for a picnic spot, for us to also make sure that you are safe and everything. Give us 2,000 rand for a day. Fine, done. And you build on that. In 3 months, when people are already used to that and you've got your booking schedule, you now even have the money to start implementing other activities. Now you do not have the money to buy quad bikes. Get someone who then can bring their quad bikes and say, look, your quad bike is going to 650. It's fine. Let's make it 750 so that the 100 rand is ours. It's our space and everything else and whatever the case. Partnering, ideology, you just need to start.
I like that. So as you're speaking, I'm thinking of a person who actually has a lot of ideas in business. But then again, it took me back to the good book, because it tells us about a master who left servants with talents. Right. So the one with one talent, he went on and buried his talent. But the master was not happy with this person. So now I'm actually asking for this person who knows they've got 5 talents. And they feel judged in the society they're living in, that they seem to be a jack of all trades. What is it that this person can do to make sure that they do something worthwhile and still be able to manage to exercise all their talents above average? They need to be a cut above the rest in terms of what they believe is their gifts and talents, right? But what is the channel? And I'm thinking of yourself as well, being a music producer, that you are a very diverse person. You are not necessarily only a scientist, but you are also a music producer, which is 2 different worlds apart. So what are the steps that this person needs to take in order to give energy to this area, but then still be able to excel in the other talents that they have?
Don't get me preaching. Now, with that, I think, let's take it from the good book. That's the reason why the one who had one talent and hid it, it had to be taken away from him. Because life will tell you that you must do something. Finish. You can't sit anywhere, talented or not talented, and do nothing. Life will teach you that wherever you are, do something. It is in the something that success and failure are inevitable. Now, do not only orientate your mind in terms of, I'm scared, I'm fearful of failure. Maybe it might hit bad so much that I might lose everything. The good book will also teach you that some of the prophets would go into a house of a woman who lives with the child, and the two are preparing themselves to die with their last meal. And that prophet of God gets there and asks for the very last. And out of them giving that very last meal, which of course it was their meal which they would have eaten and died. That meal, when they gave it to this guy, it's a risk. It's them believing that, okay, maybe something will happen, I don't know. Because this man is not even saying something is going to happen. But this man is just saying that, give me that meal, I'm hungry. Even when they would have said that, but this is the last meal we want to eat and die. This man says, just give it to me, let me eat. But look what happens after they have taken the risk of just believing the word of this guy. Then their food multiplies. Then they are able to eat for the next 30 days, 365. All I'm saying is that you have an idea. You are sitting there. Maybe there are 10. Out of these 10, you should actually look at them and prioritize one. Because you can't start everywhere. You must start from somewhere. And I've made an example with me. I've got all these things. Kinnor Investments is a brainchild of me. It is a space where every experience, knowledge, and talent that I have, it's found there. But I needed to start from somewhere. Yeah. I needed to start from what is it that if I can sell it today becomes appealing. And when these have sold, how then do I build the next one? Then I have my hierarchical order of how I'm going to implement things. You see, now it's a tax season. The priority in my company, it's assisting people in compliance with SARS and personal tax, business tax, and all that. Was part of my team, accountant that does accounting activities for managing my business compliance. But at this point in time, when they would have done that activity, is there no any other activity that they can do? And the season allows, then I can get clientele of whatever. I know a lot of people because of my network. If I put it out there, everybody sees it, then they're attracted to that. Then we've got an additional element that is adding into the business again. And, you know, I'm not an accountant, but I have a team that is sitting there that requires activities to do. And it's out of me to say, I love compliance. I've worked in spaces where compliance is pivotal. So let me do that. I've just advertised, I think, at the beginning of the week. You might have seen on my WhatsApp. I have huge cases of, I think now there are almost more than 50. And I just need to sit down and put them together because those people, they are the ones that know me. Yeah. And now they are amazed that you also do this. I said, yeah. So now I've organized my team. Say, I'm going to queue these cases for you. And if we need to partner with someone else, just let me know for workload. I do not want to get an additional resource because this season, it's a very short season. But now, if you would need, okay, fine, we would need assistance and whatnot, then I'm able to tap on, okay, let me look into who else do we work with who can come on board and assist. I'm saying, start from somewhere. I'm adding this because I've already started. I'm adding any other thing because I've already started. Yeah, you will make me go on a lot. The other thing which I'm also interested in doing, especially to even these ones that has got 5 ideas and all that. You know, I've seen that in the locations, in villages and in homelands, people believe tendering becomes the only way to start a business or to what. Hence, you would find that CIPC, it's trying to scale down and say, because it's as if everyone in South Africa has a company. And that company is not doing any good. Yeah. But in most instances, people have seen tenders, have seen people who are doing tenders. But these tenders are adding value to these people, even those ones that are not that educated. They are doing tenders. But how do I do a tender? That's a process on its own. Completing a tender document, whether it's an RFQ, whether it is a bigger document, which is a bid document. Yeah. Those are processes which, of course, this learning thing and networking thing that I spoke about becomes an important element of people understanding that even when I've just registered a business, there are things that I need to learn, unlearn, and also expose myself. So a guy with those 5 or 10 or whatnot, you gotta have to start. And out of 5, you're going to have to scale them to say which one is the most priority, the one that requires my effort, less of what I don't have, more of what I have. And that's where you start. And the more you start from what do you have, it's like an artist, man, because I do music production it's like an artist. I only have a voice. I don't know how to play an instrument, but I have a song. That means that I must find a guy who must play this and that and that and that and that. Okay, fine. That could be difficult. What if I decide today that I want to see these adverts that are going around? I want to first become a backing vocal of someone else who's doing something. And when I become a backing vocal, I get paid instead of paid because I have a voice, right? So now, if there's a recording somewhere, I speak to people that are there. Look, I'm one of the people, I do backing vocals and whatnot. I can send you my clips and whatnot. Done. You send clips. Wow, that tenor we want. You become part of that. It's a live recording. I think a minimum is 5K. You get a 5K. And then, because you have an idea that I want to record your song, this 5K is not for any other thing because you're objective. You do backings for 5, 6, 7, then you are in a space where you can go to the studio and say, I want to do a single. And I know I don't have all these other players. But I know that if I go to the studio, you can program this whole thing for me. How much will it cost? They say 7K. You have that 7K already. And out of working with other people, you have also learned the marketing strategy that when they have recorded, what do they do with the product? That alone takes you there. But everyone wants to tell you that I don't have 300K to do a recording. Then you would never record. So hence I'm saying that start from you. Start from the things that you can do as a person. Less of involvement of any other person. That alone will cultivate the starting point. You can start anytime.
Thank you so much, sir. That was very good. I really like that. I think you gave a very profound way on how people can approach their ideas, approach their talents accordingly, right? Because you really want to start from somewhere.
Yeah.
Guys, you've got to make sure you start from somewhere. You cannot start everywhere. I like that. I really like that.
Yeah.
But now let's move on to the redemption plan of God.
Yeah.
Right? And the re-concept. So I want to understand, what is your approach when it comes to that ministry, and how is it assisting the artists that are already in the industry, but then also those that want to jump into the industry?
Yeah.
How's that working?
The redemption plan of God is what God has given me as a calling. I should have identified this long ago, but I think the more I sought God, that's when I found it. And when I discovered that God always has a plan about everyone's life. Always. We might call it anything, but God always has a plan. And you would read something nice that says, for my plans are not to harm you, but to prosper. God always has a plan.
Sure.
That's true. Now, the plan of God about anyone else is for them to succeed. Hence, you cannot be afraid of the things that you see, the things that you hear and whatnot. Of course, it's important information, but start. And such, you would really see, sieving themselves away, and success is inevitable. One thing that the ministry does is that we do not own artists. Okay, we invest on raw talent, and that raw talent becomes now a person whom will make music their career, because they actually have an art already. But unfortunately, they are unable to start from somewhere. They have started by investing on their voice. They are doing something with their voice. We have heard them singing somewhere, but they are unable to get into the industry, and we get an opportunity to work with them. That's when we're able to take them through. And as the ministry itself, we don't only record a person. I primarily do gospel production, so we don't only record a person. We cultivate them.
Okay.
Cultivate them. What is music? And why gospel? And what type of a person are you supposed to be? in order for you to be acceptable in the very genre that you are doing. If you look at Mapiano, in order to become a Mapiano artist, you become a particular person and do it in a particular way and learn some dance moves and become and get used to go into particular places. So is a gospel artist. You cannot tell me I am in Pretoria, but I don't know any church around. The last time I was in church, I was in Mpumalanga. That can be right. Because you should know where other people who are doing what I do are, and therefore, so that by tomorrow when you have a song and you don't know where are Christians, what are you going to sell to? Yeah. So that's what we do. We identify raw talent, we cultivate them, we teach them this. Hence, we have a motto that says, song meet someone in a beautiful script. Not just any. You see, my surname is Sengani, started with an S, right? Yeah, and I will tell you the triple S. It's song, it's script, and it's sermon. So in your song, we want to see that you have read some scripture. In your script that you are writing, this script must just show that. Have you ever heard people singing gospel and they are misquoting scriptures? They are even mispronouncing the language they are singing about and all that. That for me is a way. Hence, we take them through. Hence, the ministry, the redemption plan. We want to redeem you from your space of comfortability to bring you into a space of understanding that what I'm doing, it's not only just music, but this is by God's design and by the calling of God and all that. And over time, you would have an artist like a Tsepo Pras, who does a Yamkele Mvumiso song, which becomes now an international song, which gospel goes classical, want to feature. You would find Takie and Rofhiwa, whom then when we did their album, we did an album called Prayer. That is beautiful, beautiful songs. You would find national artists like Mr. J. Mbiza, who has been doing your Vuyo Mokoena tributes. That you would it's a number. So and when you listen to these people, you are able to tell that that's the reason why they are where they are. And if you dig deep into them and want to see, they fellowship in some church somewhere, and they also relate. They know that if I have a new product today, who are my first people to sell to? Hence, I always say business plan, marketing plan. You see, these two, and they go together. I have a song, and I know where to take it to. Why not? So that the ministry focuses on that. And then the Reconcept was the clothing brand that we started.
Okay.
And then it got halted during COVID because we could not get mass production in that time. And then also I diverted a little bit my focus from the Reconcept brand to try and build Kinnor, so that when Kinnor grows, then we are able to look into all these other ideas. So the Reconcept is a clothing brand, and Reconcept meaning that want to motivate someone, want to motivate a person anyway to say, be redeemed, be revived, be remembered, and also renew yourself. That's basically where it is. We had a very, very beautiful clothing brand, which were every artist pray, all those nice taglines and everything. And it was going very, very well. When we do our music events, it was really going as fast as possible. And I even had other people who want now to, do nice design to just incorporate the Reconcept brand. But when we refocus on it, I think it will come back in a big bang, and that's the Reconcept brand, which was complementing the musicians and also the ministry, just to teach the musicians that we do not want to take anything as junk to the people, but God wants his people and wants to redeem that. Can he use your song? Can he use your lyrics? Can he use your sound? Can he use that? That's where.
Excellent. Wow. So I think the redemption plan of God, the reconcept brand as well.
Yeah.
Very powerful. And I like your approach to the whole thing. It's very scriptural, which is very good as well. But I want us to now jump onto hunting the hunter. Yeah. Guys, you need to understand that Mr. Richard is also a poet. From 2001,
Yeah.
you've been a poet. So I want to understand this new book that you're actually writing.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure if you have completed the book. Are you still writing the book? And can you give us more information with regards to what is this book all about? The title is very catchy already, but I want to get the inside information.
Yeah.
Can we pick on that just a bit?
Yeah, I started poetry in the early days of my academic years, 2001. Did not know what I was doing, but I would just wake up with a lot of rhyming words. And by then, I started even feeling this thing that I am the rightful narrated sensation, because I'm Richard Naledzano Richard Sengan, rightful narrated sensation. So what does it mean to say that the ripple is the sound that is being made by the water, narrated to create some sense, people making sense of what is being related to them, because it is indeed making the sound that they can hear. And out of that, there came the poems that I kept on writing. I used to recite them at the SCO in the university in those days. They used to call me Brother Entire, because the first poem I recited there was the entire me. And the first verse, it was what actually made me realize that that's why people call me Brother Entire. And that says that I am not what you think I am. I may be non-entity to people, but I'm entity to God, and that's bring entirety to it. And that alone used to be, what do you actually say? It's like, look, people may look at me as nothing, but I'm something to God, and that something to God makes me complex. So people call me Brother Entire, and then born all the poems. I've got almost in this book, Hunting the Hunter. I am throwing in 30 poems in it, and they are Christocentric, but they are what God revealed to me over time. I only write as He reveals. I have not written a poem that I can recite with my heart, because I had actually planned it with the dictionary and whatnot. It is a download. It's a download. And sometimes even when I recite them, they bless me. So it's beautiful. I think where we met, I even I recited a poem there, one day is one day. And we may not look like what we are going to become. Yeah, one day is one day. That one day is coming. I have poems like Tomorrow Today, living tomorrow today, because you only need today for tomorrow, because tomorrow will worry for itself. You don't need to worry. So tomorrow today. So the book Hunting the Hunter come about from, we are taught that we are chasing the devil. And at the same time, the devil is chasing us. So there's just chasing. So who's hunting who? Maybe let's hunt the one who's hunting us, so that we may begin to remove those ones that are already in his snare, that he has already caught, to bring them out of that. So let's hunt the hunter who's hunting the prey that ought to prey. You become a prey when you're being hunted by a lion, right? Because the lion wants to eat you. Yeah. So prey ought always to prey, so that we can remove them from the snare of the hunter. So we are hunting the hunter to depopulate hell and populate hell.
Yeah, no. Thank you so much for that. That is very powerful. So I'm just thinking now of the person who's actually doing something already. They started somewhere.
Yeah.
So now they do have these talents. So from what you're doing holistically, being a poet, being a scientist, I'm trying to think, how do you keep afloat all these balloons so that nothing falls? How do you manage that? And can you give us maybe a process in terms of what you do maybe on a daily basis to make sure that there's nothing that is overlooked and everything is still floating? Yeah. Can you just touch on that?
Look, and balls will always tend to fall because I think the gravitational laws would relate to that. Everything that is going up would only have an attraction of wanting to fall. And I've made an example with the Reconcepts brand and also the COVID. It's again an element of understanding that the seasons change. And when seasons change, how do you adjust yourself? Yes, I do poetry. Yes, I'm in ministry. Yes, I'm a scientist. I'm a project manager. All these things, they require you to pace yourself. One day I woke up and I realized that I sometimes even forget my appointments. And I went on my phone, I downloaded an app called Structured. And then when you call me, I want to put into my Structured, I think I paid 500 Rand for 365 days per year. When you say, okay, fine, we are meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock, I have disciplined myself to go into my app and put that meeting at 10 o'clock. Also, I've disciplined myself that every morning, literally, the first thing that I do when I wake up is pray. Second thing I do is check my Structured and my emails. The third thing is prepare myself for the day. That alone has structured me so much that it's part of my DNA now. It's part of my DNA. I pray, I go into my emails and my app Structured, prepare for my day. When I get out of the house, I know exactly what I'm doing. And tell you what, when I realize that my Structured is empty and my emails has got no commitment, I celebrate like a scholar in those days, which Alnach Corona. I celebrate so much that I then decide, okay, it is my day now to really look into things, check if that thing is still going well, check if this and that, apply my mind in all these things and all that and all. And that makes me now want to go on social media and check what are the new trends. Okay, where can I go and attend a conference? What can I learn and what? Then I explore on things like those. And I make sure that every now and then I put myself in a space of, it must always be relevant. Must always be doing something right. So when I think that I'm not so busy, then I create this business. So I don't even idle mind.
Yeah.
So I would do that. Structure yourself. Position yourself in such a way that you don't let things fall. Because unless imagine if I just wake up and get ready for the day and I would forget meetings. There's a lot of things that are going on already. I always tell people when I would have forgotten their birthdays, and I would say to them, my wife always catch me that she said, never forget my birthday. But now I would say, can you imagine how many numbers are in my head? And one of the numbers is I must give you. So all I'm saying is, when you're doing something, you are subject to forget another, and it might fall on you. So in order to keep up with yourself and what you have, structure yourself, organize yourself. Know that when I wake up, this is what I do. And when I don't have an activity of a day, what do I do in replacement of if I had 5 meetings going on that day? That will bring your success. Yeah, absolutely. And something that I speak to SMMEs about, like I said, they are my heartfelt, because I always want to talk to someone who wants to start. I want to talk to someone who have started and is struggling here and there. is that do not go according to what is trending. In order to nurture your dream, you need to understand that it must crawl. It must learn to walk. Those that are running, don't try and run now. You're going to grow rickets. You don't try and run now. So it is important. This pacing, this patience, this structuring yourself, this organizing yourself goes deeper into that, because it becomes a business strategy. It becomes your business management strategy to say, imagine if you were not organized, what would have happened just for this podcast? Just for today and the times and the guys to be working on this and whatnot. But you have to structure yourself. You must know when to shift the other for the other, and when to create a space for what. How do we collect content? I have a sister who sits in where is that place? Tokyo. Yes. Disney World. She's a music director there. The reason why she got there is because she has seen an opening that those ones, they just ask you to send a clip of you singing. Okay. She sent a clip. Now, after the clip, they called her for auditions. They auditioned her online. Then the next thing they gave her a job. She's now a lead vocal. Most of the performances that are being done there, even South Africans who wants to go that side, she's also the link now to do that. Okay. But the question is, how did you get there? I gave myself time to look into important things in line with what I do. I found them. And when I found them, I prioritize out of them which ones can I tap in that only needs my commitment and energy invested on that. And I have data and voice and a phone and an email. That alone has created a music director sitting at Disney World. Yeah. That's why I say this thing called patience, structuring yourself, working on you, looking on important things that are in line with what you want to do. Create a person that you have never thought that you would be brought next to kings. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
I like your approach. I like your structure. The app that you mentioned as well, I think it will come in very handy to some of the people, because being organized really determines how far you can go in life. So I really like how you actually structure your day accordingly. But now, I've got a last question here that I want to ask. They say behind every successful man, there's a woman.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you mentioned your wife just now. Yeah. So I want to find out, what is the role that is your wife playing in order to make sure that your vision comes to pass?
That's a big one. And I think I will take it in three forms. The first form is that my woman is very calm. Even when I would have not explained anything in detail that she finds me doing, she's very calm in waiting for a moment to say to me, baby, you do not tell me about this, but I see you've got passion for it. Please give me some details. I want to support you. That alone has made me even speak to her ideas before implementation. Secondly, when I would have discussed my ideas with her, she has worked as a sponge. She remembers them better than me because I've got a lot of ideas. She would then look at something even when we are driving around and look at that. I remember the idea that you had that relates to that and all that. Say we look at where we are driving past a dam. She will tell me about the whole. That alone has given me the oomph. She has become a center of motivation for me. There's some places where I am even afraid myself to say, I would have wanted to go and speak to Anglo, but I don't know who to speak to. what to do and what not, she would remind me, my principal, is that just go to the offices of Anglo and want to see someone who relates to what you want to do and all that and all that. And you know what that did? I got a deal of Anglo to train SMMEs. 2001, 2002, I've been training SMMEs of all Anglo Zimele programs. The Northern Cape, Limpopo, Northwest in Mpumalanga. And it started by me feeling I'm a facilitator. I have a certificate in facilitation, but I would like to facilitate something. And I have a passion of SMME. And I think I want to start with mines. And maybe I must start, but I don't even know who to talk to. That's when this Anglo thing started. And I got a contract that ran for some time. And it was beautiful. So she has served as a center of motivation for me. During COVID, when I did the Russian deal, going out by then, coming back, someone must be very scared that you might have contracted a virus outside, bringing it home, whether or not you had a mask, because people were still dying with the mask. But she has motivated me so much that I'm able to seize deals. I've made losses.
Yeah.
She has not, put it on my face. I've lost money on these ideas that I have. I've lost a lot of money on music and all that, but she has kept on supporting, believing in me. So that faith in me has kept me going. And that's why I'm where I am. I'm able to provide. I'm able to do this. And I make sure that, look, let's get.
Excellent. We salute her.
Yeah.
She's really doing the Lord's work in our area, in our field, as a wife. So we really appreciate that. So I'll actually like to wrap up with the quote that you actually like, that a man is great, not because he hasn't failed, but a man is great because failure hasn't stopped him.
Yes.
Mr. Richard, thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate you. All the nuggets that you've shared will radically change someone's life out there. I have no doubt that my viewers will actually enjoy this entire podcast and make sure that they implement all that you have actually shared with us. And we wish you well in where you're going. Take care.
Thank you so much. And all the best for you guys. And I want you to grow. But this is the beginning. And if there's anything we need to share, let's share. I want to see growth. And if I'm part of the seed, let it grow and germinate and multiply. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Take care.